This year, I decided to do something very different. Unlike previous times, I decided that I'm not going to take much action until I have a strategy in place. And today, I'm going to talk about resisting the urge to just rush in and start doing without having a well thought out strategy. So I'm going to be talking about how it hurts your business more rushing in without a strategy. Welcome to the Blessing Inspire channel. My name is Blessing Ofem. I am a purpose-driven brand strategist to entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and service providers. Whether you're new here or a returning viewer, I am thrilled to have you, so welcome. Every year, I try my best towards the end of the year to have some sort of retreat where I review certain areas of my life and then also try to come up with a plan, to improve and to grow and so on and so forth. But if you're like many people, you start on that process and sometimes it can get overwhelming, and then, maybe things come up and you leave it to say, I will come back and finish. And many times you find out that you don't finish. So what do? Time passes and you just find yourself going and just doing things that you are familiar with, things that you know. Sometimes you even find yourself going back to the things you already determined that you're not going to do anymore. And then, along the way, sometimes you just you fizzle out, you don't have any, passion again, and you just find yourself in a type of a rut. And so for me this year, I said, you know what? I'm going to take the time and make sure that I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know the things that need to be done. And then I will start. What we don't realize is rushing in without a strategy actually hurts us more. Think about it this way. Rushing in without a strategy is what? A plan. Now, I'm not talking about a business plan, because a business plan can entail so many aspects that you may not necessarily need, have together before you can actually start or go ahead with running your business. So I'm not talking about that type of business plan, but a strategy. How do you function without a strategy? It hurts your business rushing in and implementing marketing strategies, implementing marketing tactics, and doing what you normally do, and you don't have a strategy. Why is a strategy important? A strategy has the end goal in mind, where you're trying to get to, the goal of your brand. Strategy includes your vision and your mission for your brand, and a strategy will also lay out the way to achieve that vision. So rushing in without a strategy, without a brand strategy, it's like getting on the road, getting into the car, and you know that you want to get somewhere. Maybe you even have an idea where you want to get to, but you don't have any direction. And thank God for technology these days. You don't have to have a paper direction or a map, but at least many of us would use a navigating system. But imagine getting on the road. Maybe you have an idea where you want to go, but you don't have any direction. And you don't know where, the roads you need to take. You have no idea. Or maybe you have you ever traveled and you're heading somewhere? You have a fairly good idea about how to get there. So you might feel confident at first, not putting on your GPS. And then sometimes along the way, you decide, let me put on the GPS because it's going to save me time. I'm going to get to where I need to get to. That's what a brand strategy is. People sometimes overcomplicate things, thinking strategy. No, strategy is just that. It's a roadmap. It's a plan. It's like a GPS. It's a navigating system for you. And that's why I like to describe myself as your brand navigator, because when we get together, I'm working with you in creating a strategy on how to reach where you are trying to go. Rushing in because we just feel like, and we just need to show up and we just need to do things, but we have not sat down to look at what is the goal? What is the goal for what I'm trying to, what is the mission? What is the purpose? What am I trying to achieve as a brand? If the brand is trying to, let's say, achieve a certain amount of money within this year, based on what your business is, how many clients do you need to serve? You may not need to serve that many clients. When you sit down and you strategize, you figure that, okay, I actually only need this number of clients in order for me to meet my goal. Maybe I need to change my pricing, or maybe I need to increase the number of people I will serve this year. You see that? So strategy actually takes the stress out of even doing business. It takes the guessing game out because you already have things planned out. Now, does that mean that you cannot be spontaneous? Does that mean that you can stop? Just like when you're on the road, going somewhere and you need to stop, get gas or stop, refresh yourself, you can do that. So a brand strategy does not mean it's written in stone. It can be adapted and it can be changed according to the situation going on with the brand and in the market. A few scriptures that tell us about planning, tell us about having a strategy. First one, it comes from Proverbs 20:18. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice, make war. In Proverbs 21, verse 5, it says that the thoughts of the diligent tend to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. Many times the Bible will tell us to be patient and, don't be in a haste. But when we're in a haste, we tend to do things without thinking, and we've not really thought about all the possible outcomes. We've not really thought about what could happen. But when you sit down and you create a strategy, you're very intentional. You have thought about the different outcomes, possible outcomes, and you've kind of planned for what to do in such circumstances or cases. But as a kingdom entrepreneur, as someone that is in business, it's so needful for you to have a strategy because it will save you lots of time, lots of resources. It will help you to know what to do and what not to waste your time doing. Even personally, for our individual lives, even if you're not in business, it's necessary for you to have a strategy for what you're trying to accomplish. So if you decide that you're going to go to school this year or whatever it is that you're going to do, what is your plan? That's the strategy. What is your strategy to accomplish that goal? Are you just going to wake up and then, appear there at the end of the road? No, there's going to be a process. There's going to be a path that you have to take to get there. So what is the strategy? What have you put together as what will help you give you more chances of winning this war? So as the scripture says, by wise counsel wage war. Don't just go out there to say I'm going to engage in a battle, in a war, and you've not sat down to think about it and you've not even gotten counsel. So what does it look like to get counsel? It looks like working with a brand strategist. It looks like meeting with someone and having advice. And this can involve experts in various areas pertaining to what you're needing or looking for. Every business needs a brand strategist. Every business owner, every entrepreneur needs to have to meet with a brand strategist because a brand strategist will help you to craft a strategy that will help you to win. Okay. And so without a plan, without a roadmap, you just get into the car. It's a beautiful car. Maybe it's a nice car. Maybe it's a brand new car. Maybe you even know where you want to end up. But how are you going to get there? That's the question. And that's the question that brand strategy answers. A brand strategy will create a roadmap for where you are, from where you are to where you are trying to get to. So meeting and having advice, meeting with counselors, meeting with experts who are either familiar with the terrain, just as sometimes when you are on the road and you miss an exit or miss your way, you stop by and you ask the locals for how to get to this other point. You tell them your final destination sometimes, and then they will tell you, well, I don't know how to get all the way to where you want to go, but I know that to get back to the main highway or to get to this other point where you can then ask somebody else, this is what to do. And as they give you that advice, you are able to navigate from that point, get to the place where they ask you, they told you to get to. And sometimes you even forget. But along the way, you see another person that may be familiar with the terrain. You ask them again, I'm trying to go here. How do I get there? Right? So you ask people, but you ask people that are familiar with the terrain or people that are experts in that field or area or persons that have already traveled on that road. They've already done that journey. They've traveled to where you want to go. So they can easily tell you how to get to where you are trying to go. Another interesting scripture comes from Luke 14:28. And it says, for which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it. So, how do you start building a tower? And here it's talking about cost, right? It's talking about counting how much material you're going to need. It's all that's what brand strategy also involves. What is it going to cost you? What is going to be the investment that needs to go into this project? What is the investment of time? What is the monetary investment? What are the resources that will be needed to be able to accomplish this goal? So your business is like a tower that you're trying to build. Have you sat down and thought about what it would take to build this business? Have you sat down and thought about how you're going to build this business? Have you thought about the why, the what, the where, the when, the who? These are all questions that brand strategy will answer. So the scripture is saying you don't just start building and you've not sat down and you've not counted the cost. So, like I said, your business is like a building that you're building. Before you may have an idea in your mind of what type of building you want, but you will certainly meet with an architect who will draw a plan. Okay, this is how we're going to build this so that it ends up looking like what you have envisioned in your mind. A brand strategy is just that. A brand strategist working with you will help you so that they help you keep within what has already been planned and what has already been planned out for how to make sure that your brand ends up the way you envisioned it, right? So you resist the urge. Maybe you have already gotten started and you're doing, started doing things. That's fine. It's not late. At any time, you can decide that, you know what, I'm going to just slow down and just take time and have a strategy so that I know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, where I'm doing it, who I'm doing it with, or who I'm trying to reach, and so on and so forth, and how much is going to cost me, what is going to take for me to be able to build this business, build this brand to the level that I'm trying to build it to. I actually talk about being strategic and being strategically placed in my book, which is available for purchase. In it, I spend a chapter talking about how to be strategically positioned. So you can get a copy of the book, and the link will be in the description. Thank you for joining me. Please like, comment, and share this video. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I will see you soon.